of all, I want everyone, look up at the ceiling. Look straight up at the ceiling. When you're looking at the ceiling, in the center of the tram, there is a cord. This is our emergency cord. If you have a medical emergency, if you drop a personal item off the side of the tram, if you can't see or hear me in the monitors, reach up, pull that cord, and we will stop when it is safe to do so. Also, please, please, please remain seated whenever the tram is in motion. Keep arms, legs, babies inside the tram at all time. No smoking on the tour, and we want you to get your cameras out. We want you to take a lot of pictures today, but I'm warning you right now, Universal Studios loves water effects, you guys. If you haven't figured it out yet, you will by the end of the day. So keep your cameras protected because there is a possibility that they may get wet. All right, on with the tour. We are making our way down our timeline. On either side of the tram, you'll see some of our classic Universal movie posters over the last 100 years. On top of each movie poster, there is our Universal logo, and it shows how the logo has evolved all the way to 2013, you'll see at the bottom of the tour. And I want to show you guys a clip of one of my favorite classic film noirs. And I want to see if you can figure out what film this scene is from.
I have the room ready for you, Mrs. Barrington.
Thank you, Will.
Did you hear that? Mrs. Barrington.
Not quite, darling, but soon. Very, very soon. Bellhop.
Yes?
Every bottle of champagne sent to the room at once. And make sure that we are not disturbed for any reason.
Alright, so maybe it's not a classic movie, at least not yet. It was just Jimmy showing us the inside of Soundstage 20. And as we make our way to our front lot, we're going to show you a few more of those sound stages. The first one we're passing off to the left-hand side is our largest soundstage on the lot. Soundstage 12 is used for NBC theme competition show, The Voice.
Hi everybody, I'm Carson Daly from NBC's The Voice. I want to welcome you to the Universal Front Lot. Our show is filmed on stage 12. It happens to be the largest soundstage on the Universal lot. Take a look.
And they just finished their most recent season, but here's a look at some of the other films that have shot scenes in Soundstage 12. It's such a large soundstage. It's not the size of a football field inside. We can film very large, epic scenes inside, just like all the ones on your screens that were filmed there, including the one on your screen. This is a scene from Couples Retreat. Looks like an outdoor giant pool party. In fact, it was filmed inside of our Soundstage 12. On to our left-hand side, you'll see Soundstage 25. Soundstage 25, as well as 24, 23, and 22 are some of our busiest sound stages on the lot. They're all used for CSI crime scene investigation. On your screens there are some scenes from one of their episodes where they visited a movie studio, which they were in luck considering they shoot regularly here at Universal Studios. But these are their regular lots here for many, many years now. Very busy location here on our back lot. Off to our right-hand side, you'll see Soundstage 28. This is our oldest soundstage on the lot. It was built in 1925 to house the elaborate Paris Opera House in Phantom of the Opera. It's our oldest soundstage, but I would also say it's probably the creepiest one as well, because not only did all of the following scenes take place inside of Soundstage 28, but many people believe it's haunted by Lon Chaney, who played the Phantom in the Phantom of the Opera film many years ago. I don't like to go in there. In fact, parts of the Paris Opera House are still built into the walls of Soundstage 28 because when they tried to tear it down, lots of creepy things kept happening. So they decided to just leave it there. Shooting on our front lot, I mentioned earlier, include the Mindy Project, Chelsea Lately, Parenthood. Universal Studios is part of NBC Universal, one of the world's largest entertainment companies. Universal Studios not only consists of NBC Universal, some of your favorite television networks, like NBC, Sci-Fi, USA, Bravo, Telemundo, the Golf Channel, CNBC, MSNBC, the Weather just to name a few. Here's a look at just a few of our NBC network television shows throughout the years. One of our current NBC shows shoots right next to us off to our right on Soundstage 44. This is where we shoot NBC's Parenthood, starring Lauren Graham and Craig T. Nelson.
Here?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, like you were saying. Oh, I'll call you later now.
When you were hurt, you would smile, so you didn't show it.
I'm sure Craig T. Nelson feels right at home shooting inside of Soundstage 44. It's also where he shot his hit TV show, Coach. Now, on our left-hand side, you will see our bungalows. These originally were dressing rooms for some of Hollywood's biggest stars like Rock Hudson, Doris Day, and Jimmy Stewart. Now we use them as production offices for some of the top writers, directors, and producers in town. Like Mr. Potato Head. Just kidding. He's not a writer, director, or producer. He's just marking our Hasbro offices. They've brought us films like Battleship and Transformers. And next door to that, you may see Mr. Potato Head's arm just hanging out there next to Office 5195. You may notice a memorable face there on the side. That was the office of Alfred Hitchcock. However, now we are using it as the production office for the Dino De Laurentiis company. They're bringing us Hannibal on NBC. Nice little family-friendly way of starting out the show. The show looks cute, right? Right. All right, you guys, we are going to leave our front lot behind. That consists of our 35 sound stages, and take you to our back lot. Now, out here is where we shoot all the big stuff, exterior scenes done on a huge scale. The first area that will be coming up off to our left-hand side, these are our metro sets. They're designed to make it look like any major metropolitan city anywhere around the world, just by changing a few details here and there. So next in front of you guys, we're going to make our way around the back of this large wall here, which is just a large facade. And as we make our way around, I do have to reduce the volume a little bit. You may be able to see a little bit of production as we go around off to our right-hand side when we come around the other side. They're doing some pre-production for NBC's The Voice. So they're doing setup and stuff there, and we have to turn down the volume to not disturb them too much. Now, as you look at this off to your left-hand side, this is a great example of a facade. It's a completely flat building that doesn't look like much on this side, but when it comes around to the other side, it's a full city right there. It looks incredible on screen. We'll be showing you more examples of these throughout the tour. I am taking you down New York Street in just a moment. And to tell us a little bit more about our New York Street, I'm going to bring back Jimmy. He knows a lot about New York. After all, it is where he shoots Late Night with Jimmy Fallon. Oh, Jimmy.
Hey everyone, welcome to New York! I got my start right here in New York on Saturday Night Live. This is actually my old neighborhood. I once got mugged over there by an old woman. Tough lady. This is my favorite hot dog.
Estamos entrando agora numa...
Just like old
estúdio
times.
de filmagem, como é feito praticamente, a gravação.
Cool guys. I was just,
Olha como é que
walking there. So it's not exactly New York, but a lot of times when you see New York in the movies, it was shot right here on the Universal Metro sets. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Even if you make it here on the Universal.
Tudo é estúdio, tudo é montagem, parece muito real.
That's right, shooting in our Metro sets include episodes of NCIS, Criminal Minds, House, CSI, How I Met Your Mother, currently some setup for NBC's The Voice for their new season, as well as the Mindy Project. Whenever you see Mindy on Mindy Project on Fox Network, anytime you ever see her out and about in New York City, it's always right here in our Metro set. It's also been used for films like Transformers, Captain America First Avenger, The Amazing Spider-Man, as well as a lot of musicals, if there's any musical fans on board. Scenes from Bye Bye Birdie, as well as The Music Man, and Newsies back in 1995, shot scenes here in our New York streets. And another sort of semi-musical shot here in our Metro set, Blues Brothers.
When the Pinto fell and you saw it land and make this big hole in the street, that was on the back lot. We dropped it from a crane. You dig like that in Chicago, not a good idea.
When people ask me all of the movies I've ever done, what was the most satisfying and the most fun, I've got to say Blues Brothers. We got to sing, we got to dance, got to drive, and trained with the best stunt people in the world, and got to be an actor and a writer. So it was a good piece of work.
Danny called John America's Guest because just didn't walk into anybody's house.
During the shooting of the movie, John was missing. We couldn't find him.
Danny went off looking for him. We saw a light on in this one house and knocked on the door.
He said, sir, we're doing a movie down here. We're looking for one of our actors. Oh, John, yeah, he's on my couch. He came in, he had a snack a couple hours ago. He's sleeping. He was America's Guest. I mean, literally that happened.
So in Blues Brothers, our Metro sets were turned into Chicago. In Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, we turned our Metro sets into London in the swingin' 60s. And in Castaway, starring Tom Hanks, you may remember that movie opens with a very busy street scene in Moscow, and it's in the dead of winter. Well, they shot that here in our Metro sets. They covered the streets with artificial snow, changed a few languages on the signs, and dressed up our actors in thick, heavy coats and parkas, even though they shot it here in the middle of July. A lot of sweaty actors. That was directed by Robert Zemeckis. Another great director, part of our Universal family, is Mr. Peter Jackson.
It's the original King Kong that made me want to direct movies. I saw that movie on TV when I was about 8 or 9 years old, and I wanted to become a filmmaker. I like films that just take you away from your real life and sweep you up in adventure. Kong literally does that. I mean, you're on board the ship, you're sailing to a lost island, you're encountering monsters and creatures from, prehistoric times. So I was thrilled when Universal invited me back to Skull Island, and it's great to have you along for the ride. Now, we have created this 3D immersive experience, so you're going to have your glasses ready. Don't put them on yet, but just have them in your hand because we're about to return to Skull Island. The Universal tram is winding its way through a very rough, narrow trail in Skull Island, allowing visitors a little sneak peek at some of the wildlife in Skull Island.
Welcome to Skull Island.
It's the terror of hundreds of years. I'm so sure.
Nossa, não dá pra ver nada, tá bem escuro aqui. Tá estilo filme mesmo.
Okay, glasses on everybody. We're back in Skull Island.
Nossa, cara, que da hora isso. Nossa, parece real. É em 3D aqui, é muito louco. Ai, caralho, caiu água aqui. Ai, caramba! Ai, caramba! Pô, a água treme o carro aqui, tá fogo. Voa água, que tudo. Wonderful. Wonderful. Sai água mesmo aqui, bem isso.
Olha, cai água mesmo, é bem bacana. The largest and most intense 3D experience on the planet. Our screens are 40 feet tall, 180 feet long, making them the world's largest digital screens. The film was created by Peter Jackson and the folks at Weta Digital. Weta Digital has won 5 Academy Awards for their work on King Kong, The Lord of the Rings trilogy, and Avatar.
With a project like the studio tour, the audience is in the middle of the environment. They're looking in all directions. There's creatures coming at them. They're seeing Kong from this side and T-Rexes from the other side.
Working on a movie, we always know where people are looking. They're looking straight ahead. They're looking at the shot that we're working on.
Here you have to take into account that people are looking in all directions.
Also, one of the things about this ride, unlike the movies that we're used to working on, there's no cuts because it's one giant shot. This tram that's driving along through Skull Island is where the camera's from. This ring represents where the screen is 10 meters away.
We're really creating about 50 minutes of a feature film. That amount of visual information, that number of pixels, and presenting them to the audience. It's a hell of a ride.
Now you're no longer going to need your 3D glasses for the rest of the tour. Feel free to keep wearing them. You look great. I wouldn't lie to you. However, we will be collecting them at the end of the tour. Now, you've seen the King Kong films. You know that King Kong is often picking up cars, sort of chucking them across town with ease. Well, those are great examples of picture cars. Picture cars, any vehicle seen on screen. And coming up in our transportation department, we have some of the most famous picture cars in movie history. Some of these cars going to be just as famous as the stars who drive them.
Olha só que bacana isso aqui, ó.
Now, I'm sure we have some Fast and the Furious fans on board, and we have several picture cars, our Fast and the Furious franchise, including a few that were used in the most recent Fast and the Furious film, Fast and the Furious 6, including that ever-so-dangerous flip car.
Ó, assista o filme. Transformers. Very good. What's beautiful. Ó, o carrinho do Toretto. That's beautiful, wonderful. Ó, os estúdios do Velozes e Furiosos, mais uma demonstração
And we are going to leave our transportation department behind and take you to a jungle island off the coast of Costa Rica.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
On either side of the tram are several sets, props, and vehicles used in the Jurassic Park films. If you take a look on your screen, you'll see the mobile lab unit that we use in Jurassic Park, The Lost World. That's the second Jurassic Park film. And that same mobile lab unit is coming up off our left-hand side.
Simulação de como
now there is a fourth Jurassic Park movie finally in the works, so we held on to a lot of these sets and props in case they're needed for the upcoming production. Even a few of the actors have stuck around in hopes of being part of the upcoming production. Looks like they're coming out to say hello. Isn't that sweet? Coming out to greet their fans. So, you know, that's how it works in Hollywood, you guys. You really have to make sure you stay relevant, you get up to people's faces. Car 4 is probably just now knowing what I'm talking about. It's cool. We're all on board now. Weather played an integral role in the Jurassic Park films. Sometimes here in sunny Southern California, we don't always get a lot of rain, so we have to create it ourselves. Tell us more about the weather here at Universal Studios. I have America's favorite weatherman, Al Roker.
Hi everybody, here's today's forecast for the Universal Backlot. It's going to be sunny and dry at 6 Points, Texas. Cool and cloudy in Little Europe. Expect snow and sleet on New York Street. And we've got a high chance of fog and precipitation for Skull Island, Amity Island, and Isla Nublar. That's your forecast for today. Now here's a look at what's going on in your neck of the line.
All right, so Al thinks there's going to be a little flash flood today. However, I think he's exaggerating. So we're going to do a little weather demonstration for you today. Now, how we create rain in the movie business is a pretty complicated special effect. You're going to see it off to your left-hand side. We like to call it sprinklers. Yeah, high-tech stuff, ladies and gentlemen. What we do is we shoot the water up into the air using
Como
our
se estivesse chovendo aqui.
allowing the water to fall back down to the ground naturally using what we call in the movie industry gravity, and it appears to look just like the real stuff. I would say to try this at home, however, I would recommend having a technician on hand. You wouldn't want any of this getting out of control with this level of Hollywood special effects. Speaking of getting out of control, I'm a little worried we've let the sprinklers run too long. Yeah, I'm going to need everyone to lift up your feet. Lift up your feet, ladies and gentlemen!
Ah, no.
See, I don't want any soggy sauce on this floor. Okay, so much sorry about that, Carthree. Listen for me for one. Yeah,
Oh,
for that.
caramba.
I'm kidding. That was a result of thousands
Nossa,
of
cheiro
gallons
de água
of recycled
demais.
water being released from the tank
É
at the
muito
top of the hill.
bacana.
We do it all day long. And we just recycle that water right back into all the drinking fountains throughout the park because we are very resourceful here at Universal Studios. Here's a look at that flash flood in our old Mexico in the movie Big Fat Liar. We're going to make our way through the rest of our old Mexico sets, which you may recognize from the movies Three Amigos, starring Chevy Chase and Steve Martin, as well as Nacho Libre and Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. They use these sets as Peru. And we are going to cross the border from old Mexico all the way to the old West. That's right. We are rolling into our 6 Points, Texas. Some of the biggest names in Western films have moved up and down these very streets. In fact, I have a clip of an old-fashioned Western duel that's shot right here in 6 Points, Texas.
This town ain't big enough for the both of us, Jimmy Fallon.
Well, I ain't going anywhere, Jimmy Fallon.
Now look here. Nice folks in this tram don't want no trouble. They just want to check out 6 Points, one of the oldest sets on the Universal lot.
I hear this is where John Wayne and Jimmy Stewart shot a few of their westerns.
That's right. That's where I aim to shoot you.
Looks like we got ourselves a Mexican standoff. Lucky shot.
Now what say you mount up and get out of town while the getting's good?
All right. Well, I'll see you again, fella.
Oh, you can count on it, fella. Again.
This is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
We just have to talk it out, that's all.
All right, Jimmy, we'll mosey in and out of here as well. Now, as you take a look around our 6 Points, Texas, I want you to take a look at the doorways. Some of the doorways are slightly smaller or larger than normal. This is because in our westerns, we would often put our damsels in distress in front of the slightly larger doorways, so they would seem more dainty and vulnerable. And our cowboys in front of the slightly smaller doorways, so they seemed bigger and brawnier and larger than life. I don't know how I feel about that. Here's a look at some of our big and brawny Western stars in our Universal Westerns. may notice that there's some production going on off to our right-hand side. This is the set for Home and Family on the Hallmark Channel. In a few short moments, we will need to go by it, and I will turn the volume completely down. So I'm just warning you guys so you know what's up when it suddenly goes silent. We are approaching our Little Europe sets. We can transform these sets with just a few details here and there to make it any country anywhere in Europe. I'm going to bring back Jimmy to show us exactly how we do that.
Mi chiamo Jimmy Fallon e tu una grossa bottiglia di vino.
Mamma mia!
Je m'appelle Jimmy Fallon. Je vais avoir tes baguettes.
Well, Shelly, no! Hallo, ich bin Jimmy Fallon. Karl Schnitzer. Ich glaub, wie steht auf mich.
Now I want you to take a look at your screens. That building that he's standing in front of, every one of those scenes took place in front of that building, and we're passing it, the first car at least, passing it off to our left-hand side with the windows with the brown trim. Every scene was just changed with new language changes, costumes, and props. Our Little Europe sets have been used for the films Pirates of the Caribbean, as well as episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm, True Blood, Gilmore Girls, and Heroes. The list goes on and on. All right, again, that's the Home and Family on the Hallmark Channel shooting on our back lot. And we're out of the quiet zone. We were able to bring inside one of our sounds. Okay, it feels like a little tremor. We do get these from time to time in California. Okay. All right, so a little earthquake, you guys. We're just going to remain calm and stay seated, and it should be over in a few moments, okay? And then we'll be okay. Cars doing great. Don't be alarmed. There's excellent infrastructure on these trams, okay? We're going to be okay. Nothing to get in here, all right? It's a fire. Fire might be able to get in here. Okay, listen up, everyone. I grew up in California. I've been through a lot of earthquakes, all right? You have to remain calm. And the one thing you always need to do is to fascinate yourself a set of...
Look, dude.
Alright, it feels like the worst is over and we should be on our way. And oh no! The flash flood from old Mexico! Oh no! It followed us! Oh! That flash flood is relentless. Followed us all over the back lot. Terrible. Terrible. large-scale mechanical effects like the one you just survived. It takes weeks to put together, but once it does finally all come together, it looks pretty incredible. In fact, we used that soundstage for an episode of the television series Bone.